So how you doing, guys, and welcome. It is Kraken here, and today we are going to be looking at Alpha 21. Yes, you've probably seen there's been some dev streams going on. They've been updating the dev diary and the forums as well, and today I've just gone through 6.5 hours worth of footage, so you don't have to. So let's get cracking. So the first thing we're going to look at today is the new traders. All 5 traders now have been completely upgraded. They've all got brand new digs to live in, and they are massive. Every single one of these traders now has a full living quarters. They have a helipad. They've all got new artwork, new signage, and they are all looking pretty damn good. But there's quite a few different things that we've actually got to look at in the traders. So Reg before always had 2 different entrances, and to be honest, I always ran to the wrong one anyway. So I'm probably going to be running around in circles for ages trying to actually remember where I parked my bike to get back to it. Also, they're going to be changing where the traders spawn. So they're not going to be just on the edge of the cities like they were before on the main entrance into the city. So we're going to have to do a bit more exploring like we used to have to in the olden days to actually find where these traders are spawning. So as you can see here with Trader Rect, we've got brand new barbed wire going around the top of the perimeter fence. That's actually been shown in quite a few of the POIs, which we'll get onto in a little bit as well. So hopefully that's going to be craftable. These tractors you're not going to be able to drive or ride. They're just part of the game art, but they are looking pretty damn good. So here we go then, Trader Bob. Now by the looks of it, they've made it so you cannot actually grab any loot from behind the traders. So that's something completely new. And also you can see that he's got a garage built to the side. Now they did mention in Alpha 20 that they were going to make the traders more specific to different traits. This time they're actually going to do that because they didn't really do that last time. So Trader Bob is going to be dealing with all of the vehicles. Rec that we've just looked at is going to be looking at farming, food and things like that. So all your vehicle mods and things like that is going to be dependent to which type of trader you actually go to. And the traders have got a new system now. So the traders are actually now, the loot that you're going to be getting or the things that you're going to be able to buy from the traders are now done by your game stage. So I think better barter is a thing of the past now. Maybe that will affect the price. The prices, by the looks of it, have all gone up in price. So now the traders are going to be a lot less exploitable than they were in the past.
So traders now spawn in districts as well. They don't always spawn in the same entryway to towns. Sometimes they do. They can spawn in the rural district. They can spawn out in the wilderness. So you might find someone like Trader Joe out on a gateway tile. And then you can go quest a lot of the wilderness POIs that way.
So here we go then, Trader Joe, everyone's favourite trader in the game. Now, as you just heard there, they are going to be spawning, like I said, in different places. So sometimes you're going to find them in the wilderness, sometimes you're going to find them in the districts, part of the cities. What's quite interesting though is what they've just said about them spawning in the wilderness. There is going to be a lot more wilderness POIs now in the game. So that means that you're going to get a lot of your basic and your beginning quests out in the wilderness, so it could mean a lot more traveling to begin with. I assume you still get your bicycle after completing the first 7 quests. That's going to be quite important because we don't want to be running around too much. Trader Joel, as before, is going to be concentrating on the clothing and the armor, so he's going to be your main guy to go to get your beginning clothing. Now these traders seem to have a lot more things in them and obviously a lot bigger compounds than they had before, so I'm really hoping that we're going to be able to loot a decent amount of stuff in these new trader complexes. As you can see here, we've got the new workstations. Now all the workstations are going to be broken in the traders like they were before, but they've actually got new artwork now for the destroyed workstations, workbenches, and for the ones that are working. Here we go then, Trader Hugh out in the winter biome. Now the winter biome has changed quite a bit. They haven't told us too much on it, but I think it's going to be a little bit less of a death trap than it always used to be, which is a good thing because the looting stage is still going to be much higher in the winter biome. So that'll be something definitely worth looking at. Trader Hugh though is concentrating on guns and ammo, which is going to be very useful obviously for your horde knights and a lot more useful in the later stages of the game. Now all the prices prices in the traders have been elevated quite a bit. Inflation is a real thing in 7 days as well as in real life. Right, finally we've got Trader Gen. Now this is the first trader that you get to see a good amount of the tents that we now have in the game. Now the devs have been very excited about these tents and talking about them quite a bit. I can't really elaborate more on them. They do look good, but at the end of the day, it's a tent. You might recognize this POI. This used to be one of the churches that used to be one of the POIs that we used to do quests and stuff in. They've slightly changed it for Trader Gen. She's got some new artwork going, and she's got those hydro plants over on the side as well. I don't know if we're going to be able to craft or actually do anything with them, but it'd be quite good if we can. So Trader Jen is going to be specialising in medicine as she did before. And if you're anything like me, then you're going to need to find her quite early on because I get infected quite a lot when I play this. One thing to note there, we do have 2 different vending machines now. So we got a vending machine just for our drinks and then we got another one for our food and candy. From the artwork you can see here that there is actually an easy way now to see if the vending machines are broken. So they have artwork for broken vending machines and they have artwork for working vending machines. Another thing to note there is we've seen the new purse that we've just looted, a handbag, that everything now disappears when you loot things. So you're not going to see the old trash and things like that and the bird's nest on the ground. Once you've looted them, they will disappear. So you're not going to be running straight up to the old items like you did before. Once you've looted them, they're gone forever. Last thing to mention about the traders, that there is no longer a secret stash. So if you're struggling to find that crucible in the game, no longer can we just go and put a load of points into better barter and get that bigger secret stash, which gave us all the stuff that we were struggling to find in the game. So it's going to be quite interesting, that one. Here we go then. Our first look at our skill trees. This is the strength tree that they're showing us here, and they're keeping the rest quite close to their chest. They haven't really shown us any more of the skill trees here. Now, what you can notice straight away is Sexysaurus has been taken away. It is no longer a part of Alpha 21. So no Sexysaurus, but what they've done is they've combined Sexysaurus into the different weapons. So if you're going into baseball bats, your stamina will be built into going into the pummel perk, and if you're using sledgehammers it'll be the same in skull crushers. But what they've replaced it with is big and fast. Now big and fast is basically the same as what flurry of blows was from the agility tree before. So this has made the strength tree more OP than it actually used to be before, because no longer do we have to worry about putting points into agility. We can get our flurry of blows built up, our speed of using these melee weapons, by staying in the strength tree for even longer. And the only other skills tree they showed us here was the agility tree. And you can see their flurry of blows has been changed with whirlwind, which is basically, as the devs are speaking, is going to be exactly the same as flurry of blows. But again, it's got 3 different points that you can put into it, but you can't do it from the first point. Don't know how many points you're going to need into agility before we can actually open up that perk, but we cannot do it as from the beginning. Right, now this one I am not a huge fan of, but it does make the game a lot more realistic. Your vehicles now take damage. They took damage before, but it was so insignificant. So it was so small and insignificant that it never really caused us any troubles. Also, now you're going to use the same repair kits that we used before to fix your vehicles, but you're going to have to use more of them to get the health back up. So if you're anything like me and don't bother using roads and just go cross country all the time, you're going to do a lot of damage to your vehicles and you're going to have to use a lot more toolkits to fix up your vehicles. So this one I'm not looking forward to at all. Right, here we go. This is the big one. This is the one we like the most. All the brand new POIs that they brought to the game. So we now have 75 brand new POIs that they're bringing to the game, which will be fun to go around and check out for the first time. Also, they've done a lot of upgrading as well. So we've got at least 25 of the old POIs that have been upgraded that they mentioned, but probably end up being a lot more because they're constantly working on these. We have 14 tier 5 POIs, which is pretty damn cool. 5 brand new ones, 2 of them being the prisons that we're going to have a look through at the moment on the screen for you. But we've also got the nursing home, which we've only been shown a little bit of artwork about. house. We've got the House Modern 24. So as per normal, they've given these really useful names. This one is the CEO of Higashi Tower. So we're going to be able to go through their house as well. So that's probably going to be a bit like the mob house, would be something a little bit like that. And also we got Vanity Towers. We've been shown a little bit of that as well. I'm going to show a bit of footage now of the two prisons because they have shown us quite a bit about these. I'm going to show a little bit of that on the screen now for you to have a look at. And also tier 6s have now been brought into the game. Now, they've not really spoken a lot about the tier 6s. What I believe is they've got a new quest mode called Infestation Mode, which increases the amount of zombies, increases the game stage as well, and also gives us a new loot crate as well to get. Now, my interpretation of this is going to be when you do an Infestation Mode, that is going to be your tier 6. So I don't think there's going to be an individual tier 6 POI just yet, but when you take the quest as an infestation quest, that is when you're going to get your tier 6. We have this new danger bar that now shows up with the red skulls at the top. Now this shows up every time you go near or into one of the new POIs, so you can actually see how difficult it is before you get your ass kicked inside. So here we go, brand new tier 5 then, Vanity Towers. Now another tower block in the game. This one's looking really, really good. I know people didn't really like the old apartment building. I didn't actually mind going through it, but I think I have died in there once or twice, but it was always a bit of fun. This one looks really good. This has been built from the ground up, and apparently there's something very dangerous at the top there, which looks like there's a bit of a disco going on up there, so that's going to be a bit of fun. Again, they haven't really shown us too much about these POIs because they want us to go through and explore them for ourselves, but that's going to be good fun. Right, here we go. We've got a brand new utility building here. Now the utility buildings have always looked pretty good, but this is taking it to a whole new level. This building here looks absolutely fantastic. I believe it's going to be a tier 4, not a tier 5, but this one does look very, very good to go through. Buddy's Grain. So one of the old POIs they have done up again now and added in the new doors and things like that. We'll get onto the doors and all the new blocks slightly later in this episode, but this one here is very interesting because what they've actually done is they've made the POI, they've upgraded the POI so you can actually use it as a horde base. They've purposely done it in such a way that with these stairs and walkways is that you can actually use it as an effective POI now in the game. So it might be a good one to start because no doubt we'll find these at the roadside attractions on the edges of the cities, but really good idea there. So they're actually thinking about ways that we can actually use POIs as a base. So this could be a very good starting base here. So one thing to note when they go around this POI is that the gas barrels do still explode. So make sure you're being a little bit careful with those. And I believe they explode even if you take the fuel out of them, which is an interesting concept. And the other thing to mention is that the buildings that they used to have in the game, like the remnants, were actually meant to be designed to be sort of horde bases that we could use. Can't say I've ever used one myself to be a horde base, but they've taken a lot of the remnants out of the game. So hopefully there's going to be more places like Buddy's Grain that are going to be already set up really nicely to be used as a horde base. Right, here we go then. Another one of the POIs, and like I say, they're getting very excited about their tents. There is a lot of tents in this new alpha, so get ready for those there. And you can see there the cop car. Now, the cop car they're being very shady about. There is something going on with that. If you try looting it or opening it, no doubt the sirens will go, which will draw in a load of zombies or something like that. But yeah, they're making sure we don't go anywhere near that cop car or show us what that cop car does. So no doubt it's going to be something along those kind of lines. Now they've done quite a lot with these POIs. They have a lot of roadside attractions now. We have a truck stop, we have a new passing gas, so they're showing a lot of stuff like that now. So when we do our long drives cross country and those big long roads, we've got a lot more going on there, which we mentioned earlier with the traders. So if you find a trader out in the wilderness, these are probably some of the first POIs that we're actually going to get to go through. these POIs are going to be really useful to break up those long drives going from city to city. Now this I'm very excited about. They've got these new POIs here that are attached to the roads, and this bridge just looks absolutely fantastic. They've got 5 different versions of these bridges here. As you can see, it's going to be a lot harder to drive through them. Some you're going to go over and realize that they're actually broken. More stuff here to loot, more things to do here. So I really like these new intersections and with the roads here. And now we go straight on to this trailer on the back of this truck here. Looks like everything's dead in there and we'll be able to get ourselves some easy loot. And a shitload of crawlers start coming and biting your ankles and getting you infected. So loving things like that being added into the game here. And the passing gas here actually now looks like a real gas station that you might actually see in the real world, especially if everybody's trying to get away from zombies. Everyone's going to need gas. So there's a lot more things here, and then a new tent as well. Loads of tents everywhere in Alpha 21, but looking really good. In the older alphas, we did used to see the passing gases out on the roads in random places a lot more. Then they started bringing them into the city, so there was nothing on the roads before, but it looks like they're going back to their old ways, and there's actually going to be a lot more for us to do out on the roads. And last one to have a little look at here, we've got a gift shop and we've got a truck stop here. So lots of really cool things that they're going to be adding actually attached to the roads and things for us to go and loot. And like I say, probably the early POIs that we'll have to do quests in as well. So going to be using a lot more of the map than we used to use. So here we go then, another favourite of the 7-day players, the pawn shop. This is the 3rd different version, I believe, of the pawn shop they have now made, and they have slapped on Zoe Salon onto the side of it. Haven't really shown us much more of it, but one thing to note here that they have made the tile sizes a lot smaller for the POI. So they've made them a lot smaller, closer together. So that's something to really note. One other thing to note about some of the POIs, because they have made the sizes a lot smaller, is that the living areas and the walkways and hallways are a lot smaller in a lot of the POIs now. So that means it's going to be a lot more cozy and a lot less places to run when you're taking on zombies and trying to just fight in general. Right, here we go then. Brand new quests for us to do in POIs. Just little tricks and little things that we're now going to have to do. Those little buttons that did open up like doors and things like that, and now also different things that we can use in the game, because as you can see, Lathan trying to go through the crematorium here ain't going to work. That is actually going to just kill you now. This one's quite simple, that the switch is right at the front just to turn off the flamethrowers there on the crematorium. But I imagine in some of the bigger POIs, because this is probably a tier 1 or a tier 2, in some of the bigger POIs the buttons are probably going to be hidden in other little places. So little tricks, little things to go through there that we're really going to have to keep our eyes open to get ourselves through the POIs now. So I really like this, adding a bit more to the game there. As you can see, presses a button and straight away turns that off, and now we can go through safe and sound. Right then, just to wrap up the talking about the POIs, these are some of the new roads that they've put into the game, which are actually looking quite good. These roads going up and down the cliffs and the hillsides actually are now part of the POI set. You go straight into the driveway. Just a really nice way that they've connected the whole world and the new random gen all together. So looking forward to this. It's just making the game a lot more complete. It's looking really good. So hopefully we won't just get roads that just stop in the middle of nowhere anymore. They're actually going to be attached to these wilderness POIs, and they do just look really smart. They've actually done a really good job of this. Right, on to something brand new now, something very controversial. There are no more drinking bottles in the game at all, so we can't just craft them. We're not going to be able to carry them around. We now have these beautiful, wonderful, ugly things that we're going to have to add to our bases. They are the dew collectors. So this is quite a controversial one that's been put around. This is how we are going to get our drinking water from now on. I believe they've said that they fill up 3 times a day, so we're going to have to cover our bases in these. Right, here we go then. This this is a big one for all you builders out there. There is a hell of a lot of new blocks in the game, about 692 new blocks so far. I think that's getting us up to about 2,500, somewhere in that kind of region, because we had a lot added in Alpha 20, but we've got a lot more that has been added now. One new feature of this is that we can now favorite our blocks. Now we could do that in our crafting menu before, but now we can do that in the different block menu as well, which is going to be extremely useful because there's always blocks that I can never remember the name of, and there's about 20 of them that all look very similar, but now we're actually going to be able to go through and favorite our blocks, which is really good. Also to note, we are going on to windows and doors now. You can now upgrade and repair your windows, and the windows actually have glass in them now, which you can actually see. So no more invisible blocks. You are actually going to be able to see windows in the game, and they are looking pretty damn good. Right, so here you go. Here is all the new windows in the game, and also new greenhouses in the game. They are actually looking really good. We've got them all different shapes and sizes now, and actually looking really smart. So like I say, for all you builders out there, there is a lot more that we are actually going to be able to do now with these windows. They are looking really smart because they looked pretty crap before. So we finally got there, guys. It's only taken 21 alphas, but we have finally got there. And this brings us straight on to the new doors in the game. So the first thing we're going to show here is the brand new double vault door here. Now everyone got very excited when they showed this. So we got new animations and new doors in the game. Now the doors are really useful now because we can actually shoot through the doors, and they have 3 different versions of the way they break down. So we're going to show a few little clips of that. Right, so here we go. Lathan's showing off all the different doors in the game, and luckily enough for us now, we have got absolutely loads and loads of doors now. So we've got double doors, we've got sliding doors, we've got elevator doors, jail doors, you name it, we've now got it in the game, and they're looking really good. The animation looks really good with them. They're just looking really smart. We've got the roller doors, so now we can actually make bases different sizes. So we can put the doors in the center and not have to go with an odd number to get the door in the center. Now that we have double doors, we've got new wardrobe doors, you name it, we've got it. And like I say, the doors actually have a proper function now because we can actually break down the doors and actually shoot through them. We can melee through them. So going to completely change the way we go through POIs now that we can actually go through and use these doors properly. So hopefully most of these doors are going to be craftable in the game. But here's a really good clip here. Lathan actually knocking through part of the way through the door and then killing the zombie on the other side, and then showing the 3 different ways that the doors break down. So I can really see us using this a lot, but you can see how many doors here. There is absolutely insane the amount of things that they have now added into the game. So going to really be a game changer, this one. Really be a massive game changer. And that brings me on to my next point, which is the spear. The spear has now been completely changed in the game, and you can no longer throw the spear. I always thought the spear would be a really good idea, but I could never actually hit it on target at all. I could never actually hit the target, and then when I did throw the spear, I couldn't bloody find the thing again. So no longer can you throw spears. Spears are still in the game, but you can now actually power attack. So in the early part of the game, I can see that actually being a really useful weapon now. So we'll be able to open a bit of the door, knock it down with our stone axe, and then power attack through to the zombie sleeping on the other side of the door. Right, there you have it, guys. That is going to be my overview for Alpha 21. So far, there's quite a few things I've had to skip over, but there is another dev stream on Wednesday night, Thursday morning, depending on whereabouts in the world you are, and I will be doing another follow-up to the Alpha 21 updates from there. There's a lot of artwork and stuff that we haven't got around to showing you on this, but this video would end up far too long. The other most important thing though to mention is learn by looting. So for your crafting, for what level of item you're going to craft, that is now going to be done by magazines that you're going to find. So going through cracker books and stuff, once again, rather than just finding paper, is actually going to be really important to craft better tier items, you're going to have to find a certain amount of magazines. So you need to be looting absolutely everything to find these magazines, and then you just read them, and that is how you're going to be able to build better quality items in the game. Right, that is going to be everything from me. One thing other to note as well, I am actually now a part of the Alpha 21 streamer weekend, so we don't know when that's going to drop. It could drop at any time, most probably going to be towards the end of May, but I will be streaming on YouTube over that weekend, so I'll get you the earliest content at all possible to you guys. So make sure you look out for the channel, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, turn on those notifications, make sure you come and see me, come along, say hi, and you will see me then in the streaming weekend. That's everything from me, guys. You guys have a cracking day, and I'll catch you in the next episode.